Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Fundamentalists podcast. My name is Elliott Morgan, and I'm here with Peter Rollins, and this is a podcast where we discuss the possibility of life before death. Ever heard of it? We sure have. This particular episode is brought to you by the lovely folks at r/Wall Street Bets over at reddit.com. We are filming this currently, recording this on Thursday, January 27th.
First, 7th. Why not?
Doesn't,
Yeah.
Pick one. And so I woke up this morning. I've been seeing things on the internet about the kerfuffle going on over at Wall Street as a result of a bunch of hooligans on the internet who decided to I understand very little about this, but I do think I can say a summary that sounds as broad strokes as possible. People bought a lot of a stock, particularly Gamestop, because it was being shorted by people on Wall Street who believed that the company was going to fail. And so they shorted it for a lot. These people got together, bought all the stock, and then therefore the people who shorted it now owe a lot of money because of the amount that the stock price has increased by. Is that true?
Yep, that's pretty much it.
So, as a result, a lot of people, normal people, have made a fair amount of money. The app Robinhood, which was once a sponsor of one of another podcast I'm on called The Valleycast.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I don't think we'll be... I was going to tweet something from the Valley Folk account and be like, we will no longer be having Robinhood as a sponsor, but they fired us like a year ago. But I thought it'd be like a funny thing to be like, they fired us a year ago, but still, we're not doing it.
Well, it sounds like Robinhood is now working for the sheriff, from what I've heard.
The sheriff of Nottingham, yeah. It is such a funny...
Because they stopped...
Yeah, and because I tried buying AMC stock. I tried, and I'm not buying... these people at Wall Street Bets will throw in tens of thousands of dollars. It's like what they do. They're kind of maybe a little addicted to it, but also they're pretty good at it, I guess, sometimes. But I'll do like a little bit here and there, and I tried doing an AMC stock as well because that was next on the docket, and they canceled it because and I did one stock. It was like $8, and now
for one share.
One share, excuse me. Yeah, I did one entire stock.
Yeah, you basically bought the entire company.
Not to whatever. I'm not. But
nice.
Some money to throw around.
Yeah, I own AMC now.
I own AMC. I bought the stock. So, but I have today started dabbling in. I went to, I have a Robinhood app, and I have like.
You were the one who told me about it, by the way. You told me
fun.
You do this thing called Robinhood. I went on it, just did a couple of things on it, but it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's super fun, and you can forget about it. I forgot about it, and I only have like $500 in it that was in there for a year and a half or something, and I just
show off.
I know, not
Bourgeois
to whatever.
bastards.
It's a lot, kind of swinging my weight around. But I was like, I'm gonna transfer all my stocks to this other stock called Legend Pharmaceutical because someone on Reddit was like, do this one now. Like, this one is still available on Robinhood because they shut down, like you were saying, GameStop, AMC, which is weird, right? That's weird.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about that. That's weird.
Talk about that, yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Right? You can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very highly regulated industry, but I don't think you can do it. Yeah, it's a very grey area, but it's not cool. It's not. It's nothing untoward about it. It's all public. I mean, this is not
you have
collusion
a right
in the background or behind closed doors. This is people publicly saying, "Let's buy shares in this company."
And what are you going to stop them? I don't think you can stop them from doing that.
Yeah, it's a bit dodgy. I mean, I think this is when you mentioned, because this was your idea for a topic, and I was like I said to you, I think this is a politically important event, and they're going to try and shut it down.
You're going to try to shut it down?
Yeah, absolutely. They are the reactionaries.
It is wild. Did you see the clip of the like CEO on CNBC who was just going on? He's like a billionaire old white guy, and he comes off, let's just say, unlikable. And he basically was like, what people are doing is they're sitting at home collecting their checks from the government, and they're not doing anything. And all this is an attack on the wealthy. And everyone was like, mm-hmm. That is what it is.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it, Pete? You have also, I mean, you have views on capitalism that are, I would say, very in depth. You have, you love the Bitcoin. You're familiar with all these things. What's your take on it?
Yeah. Okay. This is interesting. Okay. So funnily enough, I did a talk only about 2 weeks ago, and it was on social antagonism in politics on YouTube. You can find it if you want. I forget what it's called, but in that talk, the funny thing is at the end of the talk...
You can find it if you want. I don't know what it was. You can find it if you want. I don't know the title. I don't know it.
Yeah, it's somewhere. But at the end of that talk, I was talking about how social antagonism works and the idea that within a society, there is like all of these antagonisms that are going on, these symptoms, but then there is an unspoken central antagonism called the real, and when you hit on that, it unifies people who you would never have imagined could be unified, right? So somebody asked me, what does this look like? And I was saying, well, you'll know it when it happens. When it happens, you will see groups that you literally thought could never occupy the same location without annihilation unifying around it. And I said in the talk 2 weeks ago, I said, but I don't see anything of that happening in America at the moment. And then two things happened like a week later. So I wanted to mention the first one, which we haven't talked about, and then games. So the first one was fascinating because it was a speech given on the steps of a state courthouse in Michigan by one of the Boogaloo Boys, right? The Boogaloo movement, which is seen as a right-wing militia group, all of that. And he was flanked with a BLM organizer, Antifa were there, Proud Boys, all together, and he had a pride flag, and he's bisexual himself, and he gave this incredible speech that he says there's more that unifies us than divides us as Americans.
Figuring it out.
Yeah. And he said, and he said the Proud Boys, Antifa, BLM, Boogaloo. He says these are not the problem; they're the antibodies, meaning there's a virus in the system, and the antibodies arise. He says basically these are the symptoms, the calcified symptoms of a problem in our society. And he said, and the problem is basically a corrupt corporate governments, both sides, corporate interests, money going from the many to the few. And he said, like, if this continues and we are unified, this has to stop. We plead with you to make this stop. And he critiqued the military industrial complex, all of that. So the interesting thing about this is then he was interviewed in Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore's a leftist, a very good leftist, I think. And there was also the next week a guy called Fred Hampton, who's a Black Panther. He was a Black Panther, talking about this guy.
Cool.
And so suddenly you're seeing, like literally a week ago, if you'd said that there are people on the left and people on the right, and Proud Boys and Antifa, BLM and Boogaloo would be kind of unifying around this talk, you would have said it was madness.
It's a madness.
Madness. So that event really interested me. It was like, and because it hits on the real. And what's the real? Like the real issue is the wealth of the value created by the many is going to the few, right? The sacrifice of millions is going into a smaller and smaller set of hands, like, the companies that have benefited out of COVID, etc. And then the second thing was Gamestop. This share thing, you've seen people on the right and people on the left all unifying around this being a good thing. Mm-hmm. So you have people like, you've got Tim Pool, who's more on the right. You've got, on the left, I haven't seen what they're going to say yet, but I know on the left you'll have Jimmy Dore will support it. You'll have Richard Wolff. You'll have Adolph Reed. You'll have all of them. They'll support it. You even have some kind of identitarian politicians supporting it. So basically, when you hit on the real antagonism of the society, you unify seemingly opposed groups, and that's what's really frightening to those in power. Like, that's the most frightening thing. So already, the Reddit thing, they're trying to shut that down. Robinhood shutting down. Already, I think the Reddit thing's being said that these are Trump supporters or something. Have you seen that? Mm-hmm. They're trying to say that there's a hate speech on it and this kind of thing. So I'm like, they're going to try and divide us again. Anyway, so that's my initial thoughts.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I love that. It was reminded of AOC, who tweeted something about this whole situation and how insane it is, and how like that you can't do this. Like this is, people are allowed to trade, and they're allowed to. You can't shut it down, and you can't. It's their own fault, essentially.
Yeah, when I saw even AOC was supported it, I was like, that's pretty impressive.
So AOC supported it, then Ted Cruz quote tweeted it and said, totally agree. And I was like, whoa, we've gone down so many rabbit holes in this past couple years, past year mostly. I was like, seeing Ted Cruz agree and give a stamp of approval to AOC, I despise Ted Cruz, but I was still like, something's going. This is a thing. This is a thing. Like and of course AOC responds, and she's like, "Nah, you tried to have me killed a couple weeks ago, so you can sit this one out or something."
Don't get me started on AOC.
I know. But we have differing opinions on it. But I agree. I know what you're saying, and you make a very solid point, and I think that it is a very good point about that. It wouldn't have been my reaction to that, because it just wouldn't have been. But she's gonna do her, and that's fine. But it was still cool to see these two polar opposites who feud online all the time under one banner go, nope.
Yeah, but that's when you hit on the real. In politics, the real
versus the symbolic and the imaginary.
Yes, the symbolic, the imaginary, and then the real. And the real is where the action is. And when you hit on the real, it transforms the symbolic environment. It transforms the imaginary. It's like, so suddenly, you've hit on the real when those oppositions hit. However, immediately some people will start to try to separate again, and that's the danger. So in Northern Ireland, identity was used to divide us. Protestants against Catholics, that was a divide. It's kind of funny probably for Americans to hear that was the thing, you know, Protestant and Catholic, you were at war with each other.
I mean, it does sound silly.
Yeah, and it was only until basically we realized we had more in common with each other, and
killing atheists.
Yes, exactly. That was it. That we unified.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It was a
you
wonderful
hit on the
time.
real.
Yeah. So it was like that bringing together, and that's what I've seen twice, and I've been waiting for it to happen. And these things they won't work initially, and they'll be shut down. But they'll come back, and they'll arise in different places. And when I saw some people on the left and on the right agreeing and saying congratulations to each other, literally, like I didn't see the tiger, literally going, amen, I agree, this person. And people who were being mature and big about it and saying, I have slagged this person off, I've never liked what they've said, but I fully support them in this, and I thank them for speaking out about this.
Yeah, it's wild, man. I've never. I wish I could just, download enough information into my brain to be able to fully appreciate the. And I don't mean this in the way that in terms of the real, but in a symbolic way. The what's happening is so cool, and I can appreciate it from. I feel like I'm like in the bleachers, just being like, wow. Yeah, neat. And like I'll get on my Robinhood app and I'll be like, which one you think I should? Which one is the one that has some billionaire that's like shorting this company for apparently no reason? And they're like, do this one. Okay, great. And then the like, how does this not affect how does this not change the whole system moving forward? Like, how does this not how do they stop this from happening again?
They will. I mean, they're going to stop it. But the funny thing is, like, this is why I like. It's like this is a way of redistributing wealth. I mean, that's why I think it's hitting the real, because literally, this was more effective than Occupy. Like, what's happened in a few days did more than the whole
normal
Occupy
people
movement.
Became millionaires.
Yeah, and some people. So a lot of them have just made a little bit of money as well. I'm sure some have become millionaires. My goodness, but a lot of just regular people have just made an okay amount of, but they're taking it from the hands of billionaires.
Oh.
And it's so clever because shorting, I know someone, a very close friend actually, who's a hedge fund person, and shorting was a way in which you could make a lot of money. But the downside of shorting is there's kind of no limit to what you can lose, and that's what's so clever about what's happening. Is shorting is probably is an easier way to make money, but if you short a stock and it rises in value by hundreds of dollars, so if you short a stock at $10 and you buy these shares at $10, And so you basically, let me get this straight in my head, right?
No, I know you're getting there.
Yeah, I borrow as an individual. I borrow these shares of someone else, and I say I'm going to give you these shares back. I take those shares, I sell them to somebody else because I think that obviously they're going to go down in value. So I sell them to you for $10, and then I think in a year's time, when I have to give them back to the person that I borrowed them from, I think they're going to be worth $3. So I buy them off you for $3. I've made $7, and I give them back, right? So,
see, that already kind of lost me a little bit.
yeah, I make sure that, so I'm borrowing shares of this person A, and then I have to give them back in, say, a year's time. Then I sell them to person B, and I sell them to person B for $10 a share.
I see.
And then because I believe that those shares are going to be worth $3 in a year's time, so I'll be able to buy them back for $3. So I've sold them to you for 10, and then I buy them back for 3. So I've made $7 per share when I give them back to this person who I've paid a little bit of money for them to lend me the share. Did that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I got enough of it in my head that I kind of held it and stopped paying attention.
Yeah, but the difficulty thing is, if I buy the share, if I sell the share for $10, the maximum I can basically make is like $9. If it goes right down to $1, then I can make $9.
Yeah.
But if they go, there's no limit to how high they can go.
Yeah.
So if they go to $20, $30, $40, I have to buy them back to give back to that person. So I have to buy them back at $30 because I have to give them back to them. So I've lost 20.
So that's the hold the line meme or whatever, the phrase that's going around on everything, where they're like, hold the line, like do not sell.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to, cause
they want to lower the price. So it's like, yeah, they can at least get, yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm seeing that, and it's like people do seem to, by and large, maybe not by and large, but a significant enough portion of them are not selling as the price skyrockets, which seems to be truly, like, just when I was coming over, and again, this is, the Thursday, so I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, because my apparently stock has started to tank. But that's another thing they were saying, that after hours, these hedge funds and stuff can make deals. They can do things that you can't do as a normal person during the trading hours, and that alone is sort of like not fair, right? Like, you should be able to buy stock the same way anybody else can buy stock. I don't really understand how they can do that.
Well, so technically I'm guessing you can, but you'd have to, not through Robinhood. Like, Robinhood has made it easy for people to buy small amounts of shares. So technically, I guess you can, but it's like buying crypto coin. It's really complicated. When I decided to buy a little bit of crypto just because I was nervous about the economy, it was a real hassle.
Name one reason.
It took a lot. I had to because there was a particular crypto coin that I wanted to get, and it required getting 2 apps and getting my bank connected, and the bank didn't want to be connected. It was a real hassle to do.
We don't want to be.
Yeah, don't want to be involved.
I don't want anything to do with this. Yeah, it's wild, man. It's beautiful. I mean, it is such and the fact that the freaking app is named Robinhood is so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny, and they're just getting raked over the coals. I'm like, who are you guys? Well, how do you think this is going to go? Like your whole market. Your whole idea is to pitch to the everyman who can then do day trading, get involved, have a little bit of a piece of something, see what happens, play with it. It's fun. It's very user friendly. It's a beautiful interface on that app. And then they just piss off their entire user group. And then how are they going to survive this? I don't care.
The users or
the Robinhood.
Robin. Yeah, I mean, I wonder why they I guess they did it. I guess their conscious reason for doing it is to protect their customers who might get kind of caught up in a gold rush. I guess that's but I don't think that's what's really going on. But I'm guessing that's what their official line is. Yeah. Is that there's a gold rush, and some people are going to lose, because some people are going to lose a lot of money on this. The stock is probably going to go way up, and it's going to plummet as everybody sells. But there's a lot of people who are doing it for ideological reasons. That's what I love. Like, a lot of the people are not doing it to make money. They're literally doing it to redistribute wealth, to kind of to damage Wall Street. I mean, that's
and that's what how do you get, how does that, it's like, well, now we know we can do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, What stops people from doing this again and again and again?
Dividing people. I honestly see there will be politicians and there will be the media, that's why I don't listen to the media anymore. Legacy media loves to divide and conquer. So, because when people are unified, when unity happens, you can do this kind of shit. So they're going to divide us in some way, just like in Northern Ireland, divide the Protestants from the Catholics, divide. And
remind them that they're different and they have their own disagreements. Leave us alone.
Yeah. Yes, and so don't hit on the fact that really
that guy believes that thing and that guy believes that thing. So you guys should work that out, and then you can come to us with all of our billions of dollars.
That's it. Scapegoating. You scapegoat. It's like, oh yeah, no, they're the problem. It's immigrants are the problem, or this community's the problem. Like get people to fight internally, because when they unify and go, we the people sacrifice and create the wealth. And so the wealth that we create should benefit the communities that we're from.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What if the people that are bad are not bad, but what if what is bad is the billionaire Wall Street hedge fund people? What if that's the case? What if we found the real problem? What if we hit on the real?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I mean, and it's not the individuals, but it's the system. It's a system.
It's not the individuals.
Yeah, because I know people.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but so I know people who are, who are in that world stuff, who actually believe in the redistribution of wealth. They're coming from a different perspective than me and how that looks, but they are incredibly concerned about how to stop wealth from galvanizing and coagulating in a very tiny place. So yeah,
I mean, I think if you're an individual billionaire and you become more of a billionaire because you're successfully able to play a game, I don't view that as being a moral problem. I think I do think though,
blame the game.
You play the game, and I think it is a little bit of a game, and it is complex at times, and it is risky. But it's like the fact that it does also feel like this is a development that couldn't have happened 20 years ago before the internet. It's like the stock market's been around for a while, and now there truly does seem to be a coalition of people that they're gonna want to get their share. Even if they don't get their share, they're going to want to at least play the game because they know that they're an active player if they're unified with everyone else.
Yeah, and then, which is unified as well. Like, it's not even that, I want to get a share, but it's also, no, I want my community to get a share. I want the people who are not able to pay their rent, who aren't able to have a job at the moment. It's like there's something really I mean, it's there's pure and impure in it, but it's like at some level, it seemed like a lot of these people were just going, right, we want this, we want to do what Robinhood would do. We want to redistribute this wealth. And like overnight, they basically took billions out of some hedge funds, like billions out of them, and redistributed them.
These people who know that they are ultimately protected from every force of financial nature, and they get to put a chink in their armor. It's pretty cool.
And the fact that say so Tim Pool, who's on the right, he's got a different view to me about, but he says, and it's interesting to me, he says he wants to see the value created by regular people, that value to be used and of benefit to regular people. So it's interesting, without making it a left-right socialist capitalist distinction, of going actually, I think there's people who are anarchists, but also who are socialists, and also who are libertarians, who all are concerned about an increasingly divided society where a tiny percentage of people have phenomenal wealth, while the masses don't own anything.
There also seems to be there's a poetic thing to all this. I mean, there's a level of beauty and elegance to this story, and it's so damn goofy. It's about GameStop.
I know.
And we the people used GameStop to take out billions of dollars from Wall Street. Is the most internet-y, hilarious way I could imagine this going down. It's so exciting. And it also is like, we tried, I think, as more leftist people to get a more leftist candidate elected. And what we got elected...
Whenever you say we, you're not including me.
No.
Because I don't like...
You don't like who?
Who got elected.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah,
I'm saying
yeah.
we tried to get a
you're saying before that. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll go with that, yeah.
Yeah. Before the general, there were primaries.
Okay.
And we tried real
I forgot
hard.
that.
Yeah, we tried real hard to get someone who would go after the rich and the mega wealthy, and it didn't work, which is fine, sure. But now it's like, there is a little, it's like, we stormed, folks stormed the Capitol. They were very angry about things, and now other people are very angry about other things, and they're storming Wall Street with their cell phones, and it's pretty cool.
Yes, absolutely. And I was sad to see some of the people who are in the camp that I think we are, and I am, being very, not listening to the various eruptions of anger. It's almost like some eruptions of anger we can listen to, some we can't. But I'm like, what's interesting about the two events I talked about, one was on that Michigan.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I don't know anything about that.
It was fascinating. It was this guy, and I watched an interview, I say, on a Jimmy Dore show, and Jimmy Dore said, I'm going to get in loads of trouble for interviewing this guy. And it was incredible. He's kind of an anarchist guy, but it was this incredible unifying thing. And he says, oh yeah, there was a BLM organizer beside me, Antifa. We were there doing security for BLM events. He'd done security, I think, for BLM events. And you're going like, that can't happen. That can't happen. Because if you go onto Wikipedia and you read about Boogaloo, they're like a right-wing militia group, white supremacy, all that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yes, you're not a fan. And absolutely, of course.
To say the least.
Yes,
and I'm a little worried about them.
Yes, absolutely. Well, then you should watch this, because it was like one of those moments. And the funny thing is, this happens, it's called a reformation, right? At various times in history, two groups that you literally think cannot be unified and create a third. And so the very obvious example is Jew and Gentile with the Apostle Paul, right? Jew and Gentile were seen as completely opposed groups. Like literally, it's hard for us to imagine how, but that would have been Protestant and Catholic for me in Northern Ireland. It was like Jew and Gentile couldn't be unified. And then Paul comes along and hits on something that allows for Jew and Gentile to be unified, which is called Christianity. But this happens at various times in history where opposed groups that you literally think could never be unified. When you hit on the real antagonism that's going on in the society, those groups unify because they are the calcified symptom of a violence and a struggle that has not been hit upon. And I just think that this is a kind of, because for me it is at the moment, there are a small number of people who have got amassed more and more value, and there's more and more people who don't even own. It's not only that they don't own their workplace, they don't have any. They don't own what they watch. They rent their TV stations, they rent their movies, they rent their house, they rent this, that. They don't own anything. There's no investment.
There's no generational wealth that's been handed down to them. There's no land that they own. They are paycheck to paycheck and surviving and they're living. Yeah, they're literally surviving.
Yeah, yes, that's it. And I see 2 weeks ago I wouldn't have said this publicly because it would have been dangerous to say.
This is the Fundamentalists. It's barely public.
That's
You're
right,
fine.
barely public. But yeah, it's like now I can go, oh no, here's two examples, because literally the proper leftists are, and like I say, Jimmy Dore, this guy from the Black Panthers, was literally saying this about this guy. I agree with everything he said. He says this is the thing. He says there's people who are in these various movements who are bad, and there's people in these various movements who are just really reacting against a tyrannical, corporatist system with a type of ideological structure, which is basically the media and entertainment industry, and that's holding us all down. Mm-hmm. I mean, not me. I'm very lucky,
Yeah.
But most
yeah,
people.
Me too. I was just naming another group.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That was a funny little quip there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're very good, I think, at uniting. I see it in my head, the graph that I want to describe, but you're very good at if politics was a circle, you do have an ability to sort of triangulate both the left and the right with your ideas on things, because you truly are, I think, are not against any particular ideology, but you do, I think, you do have kind of your eye on the prize, so to speak, about what would be the real problem. And so, yeah, I mean, this is, I imagine for you is like such a like a proof of concept. Almost.
Yeah. It's
You're
so
like,
exciting.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay. This is because I mean we've talked about it a little bit, but you going more of a political direction, I think, is a very good thing, especially when that it's around things that can actually, as lame as this is to say, you actually have an ability to unite people from opposing standpoints, and I think that might be, call me crazy, kind of needed right now.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, the funny, and I was so pleased that I gave this talk a couple of weeks ago where I said it, because the only example I could use was Tammy Faye Baker at the time, because I was like, Tammy Faye Baker was a character who united fundamentalist Christians and the gay community and people who are trans rights activists,
Heavy
all
metal
unified.
fans, Manson and all that.
What's that?
Marilyn Manson.
Oh, that's right. She has these great pictures of Marilyn Manson. Yeah, like she unified people who you literally thought couldn't be unified, and it wasn't because of like something she did. It was who she was. She touched on something that unified across the American divisions.
She was in the grip of a daemon.
She was what?
She was in the grip of a daemon.
You just spoke in tongues?
Grip of her daemon, like the idea that you can become overtaken by like
yes. Oh, very good.
Idea,
Get a little bit of...
there is a current within you that speaks to your truest, most authentic, powerful self, and that's what a daemon is. But people can also be evil and be gripped in their daemon at the same time. So you get people like Hitler. Freud was said to be in the grip of his daemon, along with Copernicus, Darwin.
Very good.
They go through these phases, and if you're a creative person, you know what it feels like when you're overtaken by the creative impulse to create things, and it feels like it's actually not you. And so you could say that about Tammy Faye Baker.
Yeah. So I am excited about like this finding those events within a society that bring together the people that you just can't imagine.
And look, maybe what we needed was a break from the noise that was happening, and now it does seem like we had this inauguration, we had this Capitol scare, we had this election quagmire that we all got into. Pandemic,
so-called election,
if we're gonna give it that name. But now it's like, I just love that this is just people doing this. Like, it's not a campaign to elect a candidate. It's not like we're better than the other people. It's just people going, these guys are saying this company's gonna fail. We could buy all this stock right now and really screw them over.
Yeah.
And people are like, okay. And then they do it. And it works. And then everyone is just like freaking out.
And it's so like, funny the AMC was the second. Like, that's so hilarious. Like,
beautiful.
Like the worst stock you could ever buy, AMC, you'd imagine. And like you'd want to short that.
Maybe,
fuck,
but if they start reopening, which they're talking about doing in the next coming months, people will want to go to the movies again. Yeah. So it's not the worst investment.
Yeah.
But I would never think to invest.
You'd never think to invest. Yeah, you could think, but you're taking a big risk if you invested in AMC. Like you definitely, you'd want to short it, and then all these people are going, let's just buy shares in AMC, and it just
if we all do it. It's so funny, man. The power of the internet.
Yeah. So I'm just waiting to see, and it'll already, by the time this comes out, will have happened probably, how they're going to divide us, how they're going to make this seem like, one group against another, how they're going to try to break the unification down. I'm almost interested to see.
I trust the people who are at the forefront of this movement. I trust them to not fall for that. I think that it will, but maybe they will. I don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe they won't fall for it, but if they turn everybody else against them.
I mean, what are you thinking? Are you thinking that's what's going to happen? Like they're going to...
See, my guess is they'll try and paint them as something. They'll try and paint them as an extreme group, either anarchists, extreme.
Oh yeah, even on CNBC, the guys like these are just a bunch of lazy people going after trying to attack wealthy people.
Yeah, that's it. So it'll either be these people are anarchists or these are right-wing extremists. Mm-hmm. So and it'll probably be both. They'll probably and whatever sticks, mm-hmm. whatever breaks this up. And then there'll be something else. But it was exciting to me that I saw two things that gave me a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
I think they're very small things, but they're like significant. I mean, this is. But
it's a revolution.
Yeah, one company had I think it was an injection of $2.75 billion.
Yeah. That's the hedge fund. Yeah, that's the Gamestop thing. Yeah. Incredible. That's a serious amount of money.
That's a serious amount of money.
Yeah.
You know?
That's 2 days of the military.
Yeah. It's like, my goodness.
Actually, I think it's like 1.5 days of military spending.
Is that right?
$2 billion a day, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Military's, by the way, you see the day of the inauguration, more troops being brought into Syria. On the day of. Anyway, it's gonna be...
You need to get off the news. Yeah. Sometimes you know too much. It's time for me to go back into my hole. Well, this is a shorter podcast, but you know what? It's a story that's still developing. So since it's still developing, let's go ahead and check my stock. I myself have invested in, as I said, Legend Pharmaceutical. They did this with GameStop after hours. It drops, right?
So, by the way, why are people shorting them? Are they like a really bad pharmaceutical company?
See, that's the thing. People were like, no, they're not. And they've had profits for like the past however many quarters. And the owners or whoever's shorting it, they found the guy who's tried shorting it. And it was a guy who's tried to do this years ago and got shut down doing it. So we're essentially trying to screw this one guy who has attempted to do this before, who was a very rich person. And the company is like very good. Yeah, it's still sinking. Yeah. It's plummeting because it's after hours. Yeah. So we'll keep you updated as this story develops. But I think this is going to keep going up, is my guess, because I'm an idiot.
I know that, but yeah.
Yeah, and if I found this and people are like rallying around it, we'll see what happens. But it's still a bigger profit I've ever made on the stock market today in my whole life. I know, which tells you how much normal Americans have invested in the stock market. Yeah. This could all go to nothing and it wouldn't affect me, but people who like really invest in this stuff, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be crazy to just invest a bunch of money in.
And this is the other problem.
No, it's Ligand Pharmaceuticals, LGND.
LGND, because the reason one of the reasons why people don't like this strategy of shorting is because, like you could try to short a business and then you can, if you're a powerful enough organization, you can be saying, well, we think this business is going to fail. And the business only starts to fail because you say it's going to fail. And you're a big institution. Yeah. So you basically, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's not that the businesses are good or bad. It's that it's the perception. And you can sink an entire business just through perception. So I put $1 million into.
You put $1 billion. Oh,
yeah. No, if I short $1 million to a company, and of course I've got the power to maybe send out statements to the media saying, we think this business is going to fall apart. You make it happen.
That's the twist ending, is that all of this is nothing. It's all just vapor, and it's all pretend. Yeah. And so I hope everybody has fun with it and never invests more than they can afford to lose, because this is all dumb.
And it tells us something about what it is to be human, because it's not about what you believe. It's about what you believe the other person believes, which is, it's like we don't desire things, we desire other desires. So when it's like,
no, I like money.
Yeah. It was probably because a lot of people like money. We desire what others desire. If you're around a pile of people who, lived very simply, you might start not liking money. Yeah, maybe.
Here I am.
But it's like, it's the weird thing where it's not about how good the company is. It's like how good I think you think the company is.
Yeah.
And if I think, and then I'm always betting. That's what I did with Crypto is, it's not, I'm not betting on crypto being good. I don't think it is, but I'm betting on other people thinking it's good. So that's why I made an investment. It's not because I think crypto's good. I'm actually quite critical of it, but I think
of it.
Critical of the.
You got it.
Simply up. But I believe other people aren't. So it's a weird kind of.
It's a game.
Yeah, it's a game.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you for listening to this episode of The Fundamentalists. If you would like to subscribe to us on iTunes, we would greatly appreciate it. We'd also greatly appreciate any kind of reviews you could leave us on iTunes. This episode was a little different. We didn't get into anything involving, I don't know. We got into the real.
Yeah, the real.
By talking about how fake
concept. Yeah. I have something to plug. I forgot. I'm doing my talking about bringing together opposites that you think don't fit together. I do a course every year called Atheism for Lent, which shows how atheism and theism, people think that they're separate, that they're enemies, when actually they're in a very passionate love affair with each other. They enrich each other and they interweave with each other. So Atheism for Lent is a 40-day course where you have 40 reflections, and I give a live seminar once a week, and that starts on the 17th of February. If you're interested, go to my website. And I also might do an online version of my Wake Festival in Belfast. Fun. So that might be on sale next week if we do it. I'm not sure if I'm
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'll go to Belfast in an Irish pub, and we're going to have musicians, comedians, magicians, and then I'll be talking, and we'll have some kind of interesting philosophical ideas.
What kind of comedians?
Oh, well, do you want to come to Belfast?
I don't know. Depends on how many people sign up.
Yeah. Start signing
program.
up. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.